taking on. Watson was created by humans. Let's go humans. Let's take on this challenge and apply it to the future. Interactive advertising, before the event, was used to create tension and drama. Watson did a bunch of exhibition matches against the human champions and against other people in a Jeopardy-style format. He didn't win all the time. Almost 30% of the time, he lost. And IBM actually wanted the world to know that because there's tension. It's not a walk in the park. Maybe he's going to lose. Let's watch the show. And so in the build-up, we did a whole series of interactive advertising. We used what the web is great for, deep content. Let's get that full story. Push people, not in the print ad or the TV ad, get the full story. Go into a deep microsite where you get all the story. Why Watson? Why did they use the Jeopardy format? Who invented it? What's going on? IBM commissioned a book. Why do you commission a book? Because a book carries gravitas. It's got scientific credentials. It's got societal impact. They actually commissioned a book. That was smart. You can't do that in a banner ad. Huge use of social media. Facebook fan pages, Twitter feed, where Watson was tweeting all the time. People were tweeting about him, and extensive use of YouTube. Again, adding another dimension to the story. There's an interesting thing, which is part of IBM's mission was to reunite us. They invited employees those 3 nights of the TV show, come and watch the thing together as a team, as a tribe. Then they said, what if we invited customers? Would anybody show up? Let's try it. Then they said, what if we invited students on campus? IBM has an on-campus problem. They don't have the ThinkPads anymore. They sold that to Lenovo. They have no touch points with consumers. So IBM's like a stock. IBM is like something for big enterprise. They want to touch students because they want it to be a cool place to work. They invited a bunch of students. Why don't you come and watch the show? They invited some pizza. Guess what happened? 14,000 people showed up. Customers, prospects, proud employees, and prospective employees. Trigger-driven direct marketing. We put it out there, little bits of bait. You like what's going on with Watson? Click here. Here's the white paper. Here's the deeper story. Capture leads, capture contact information, nurture them along the way, pass it off to the sales group. Watson won. It was not a walk in the park. On day 2, he struggled, but Watson won. And it was a celebration, and IBM again used their paid advertising to position it, not as Watson tramples, lowly humans, but humans win. We solved the challenge. It's exciting. The next day, IBM hosted a fabulous online webinar that had the inventor, the second guy in, the guy with the beard is the inventor, he led the lab team, and a bunch of business people inside and outside the company that talked about, what does this mean for business? It's not just a game show. What does it mean? You know what Watson's doing today? He's gone to medical school because his ability, this capability to read ambiguous data is fantastic for diagnosing complex diseases like lupus and cancers. So he's working with Johns Hopkins University, this capability to run through tons and tons of sequencing and narrow it down and say, I'm 90% sure that this is the problem that we're facing. Doctors, there's a wonderful story. A doctor showed up at the IBM quarterly business results that had been diagnosing this person for 3 years. I finally got it. Watson got it in 5 minutes. I wish he were there for the last 3 years. So Watson has gone to medical school, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where it unfolds. So, really smart stuff. Did it actually work? Here's the story. The first piece is kind of obvious, but pretty good. IBM bought and paid for 12 minutes of advertising in those 3 nights of the TV show. They got a big audience, 4.5 million people, which was good, because that's the best viewership of Jeopardy in the past 5 years. But that's just the beginning of the story. It was so interesting, everybody wanted to write about it. PBS, the public broadcasting system did an entire 60-minute episode for free on Watson as a scientific story. Every major chat show in America, Jay Leno, The Tonight Show, Jon Stewart, Conan O'Brien, etc. Everybody picked it up. They had jokes, they had parodies, they made fun. One of them invited Watson on as a guest so that they could interview him in the chat show format. Twitter lit up, Facebook, YouTube, millions of views. At the end of it all, 1.3 billion free impressions. Because it's a story. It's not the system powered 7 with analytics in the mix. Man versus machine, a great challenge. But there's more. It got real customer engagement. They measured pre and post awareness. They measured the number of client briefings that it generated. They measured the number of hits to the Deep Watson site, how long people stayed and where they went on. But there's more. It went all the way. Finally, an integrated market went all the way to business value. I put some money down here, guys worked in labs, we spent some money. What did I get? $50 million of free public relations. Number 2, $260 million of lead pipeline. Number 3, already 37.7 million of the lead pipeline has been closed. That is integrated marketing. That's 360 in the current mode. IBM's doing a ton of work coming this fall here in ANZ. You'll see a terrific new study that they've just done called the IBM Global Chief Marketing Officer Study. They interviewed 1,734 people, one-to-one interviews in 64 countries, about 25 industries. You'll get a fabulous, robust view of what's going on in the minds of the CMOs and marketing leaders of the world. I think it's really interesting. You should grab a copy of that. So number 1, most integration isn't, and you need to think of integration in this bigger sense. It's not like a perfume, it's a muscle. It's a muscle that propels business forward. Point 2, you need a new framework. You need a new way of thinking about your business and how to propel it forward. Almost all of us here grow up with the 4 Ps or some variation on it. Product, place, price, and promotion. Certainly how I grew up with Procter & Gamble. So when were the 4 Ps invented? 1967. Jerome McCarthy, and then later popularized by a marketing guy, Phil Kotler. Marketing the same today as it was in 1967. You know, where you had product advantages that last forever, 2 or 3 channels of distribution. You could just work out your cost of goods sold, put a price on it, and you could intrude into consumers' home. It's totally different. The 4 Ps must go. They are not relevant in the empowered digital world. And the smart marketers are looking at it through a new lens, looking at it through what I call the 4 Ps. Product becomes experience. You can't count on a product advantage the last 2.5 years. They don't. You need to get the experience to be differentiated. Point 2 is not place. You saw my list of all the channels that people can work in. It's not a bit of retail and some TV. You have this huge amount of recipe of channels that you can bring to the business. We need to think of every place your customers want to be. It's not just about price, it's about exchange. What value must I give to my consumer in order for them to do what I want them to do? Maybe it's just saying thank you. Maybe it is giving them advanced access to information. It's not always price. Final point is evangelism, which is in a world where you can't always intrude, you need permission. You need to be more evangelical. Stand for something. Reach out to people. And if they like it, first of all, they'll let the message in. And secondly, they'll share it with other people. This is the essence of how the smartest marketers are looking at the world. I'm going to give you an example. It's from Louis Vuitton, the luxury goods manufacturer we work with out of Europe. And they really get it. They've got a big brand idea, which is Louis Vuitton loves and celebrates extraordinary people and the cool journeys that they go on around the world. This one is some advertising featuring people being into space. This one is celebrating Keith Richards. He's had some trips too. And I think I like it because he looks like a piece of luggage. You know, he is one scary looking dude. So from a big brand idea, you start evangelizing it and propagating it. So there's social media, beautiful YouTube videos showing people and their journeys. So this is for the guys in space. This is where social meets commerce. This is a Louis Vuitton fashion show, available only online. And it's got a live Twitter feed on it. So you can watch the show coming by, you can comment, you can snark at it, you can say good things about it, but it's a very interesting way of taking the program deeper. Now into the experience. That's the nice stuff, you know, the top end of the funnel, the early part of the journey. We actually design all of the website exactly how women like to shop for luxury goods. So we designed the user interface on the e-commerce shopping experience to be very intuitive and journey-like. What colors suit you? I love this one. I think it's the next one. Which price range do you want? You know, 4,500 euros or 5,300 euros? Which would you prefer? I mean, it's astonishing stuff. Beautiful rendering of the products. Make it so that you can almost feel it and taste it. A lot of the work is starting to get into animated and three-dimensional products. Again, that's how people like to shop and look at stuff. And of course, we're putting it into mobile experience. So you can actually see it and feel it. One of the social media extensions we've just done with we call something called ADMA. It's a social media application where celebrities like Andre Agassi, the tennis player, will take you to his New York City. And you actually can follow along the places that he likes to go to, his favorite restaurants, the best place to buy a bagel, the best place to smoke a cigar, whatever it is, and you can follow along and then create your own journeys. Once again, they get it. They take it from a big top end of the funnel, early part of the journey idea. They drive it right down into e-commerce, into mobile, into social. That's people who understand the 4 E's. And for the past 3+ years, we have billions of pieces of data to optimize on, to learn from, driven on a real-time dashboard that informs the program and makes it better all the time. So, number 2 is the 4 E's. Number 3 is you need to get that the starting point is always going to be the customer journey. Do not design your integrated program till you absolutely understand your customer journey in your country, in 2011 or 2012, in your category. How do people shop? What are the trigger events at the beginning that started? What research or discovery process do they actually go through? How do they shop and make a purchase? What's their behavior as they use and experience the brand? And then finally, what happens if they like it or hate it? How do they share it? And you need to create detailed journeys. I encourage people to map it out on 1 page. I'll show you an example. It's from Nestle. We work with Nestle around the world. They're very, very smart. They really get this journey issue. One of the businesses we work with them on is infant nutrition. And there's a stunning and obvious global insight, which is mothers around the world just want one thing. I want to do what's best for my baby.